Hi, I'm Andy and this is my new series called My Little Garden. It's going to be a series that's going to run right through the season. Some videos are going to be uploaded weekly, some fortnightly. Just as and when things progress, you'll be watching along the way. So what's it all about, this My Little Garden? Well, I tried to remember back to when I first started. I started off with a small area of land, just a corner of a garden, and then it expanded until I overstepped the mark and realised there was too much for me to cope with. So I've downsized a little bit. I still grow on a fairly large scale, but for people who are just starting off, it's a good thing to start with a small area, because if you can't maintain a small area, it's not really much point expanding. So we're going to use, along the way, we're going to use the rule of square foot gardening, because it maximises your yield per square foot of ground used. Keep it as cheap as possible. There's no real set rules on what you use. You can use planter bags, plant pots, small wooden raised beds. It doesn't matter, just keep it cheap. If you've got your own compost, that's fine. I'm not going to go into too much depth about seedlings. As you can see, I have some seedlings already done. Some things I will start from seed, because it's that time of the year where I've already sown stuff and I'm not going to re-sow just for this purpose. I mean, there's hundreds of videos on YouTube about sowing seeds, and there's instructions on the back of your seeds. Right, so we're going to have a quick look at what I'm going to use to actually do this series, and you can follow as you like. I do have allotment videos on my channel as well, if you want to see what I do on a slightly bigger scale. But this is the best way to actually start, because it's not for everyone, gardening. It really don't be taking big plots of land on and then walking away from it. So if you do it smaller and you like it, then fine, maybe it is for you. Right, so we'll have a look at what we're going to need. Alright, well, this is the area I'm going to be using. It's not the most ideal of places because it is quite shaded by my polytunnel. I've also got a pear tree right next to it, and my compost bins are right behind here as well, so it's the only sort of area that I'm willing to use up for this project. Right, so what we've got, these are potato planters. A firm called JBA Seed Potatoes have kindly given me these because I mentioned them in a previous video, and apparently there's some new ones they've got in and they'd like me to try them out. So thank you, JBA, for that. And to one side, what I'm actually using to grow the square foot in is this contraption. I bought it from Asda. It's 1 metre square and 25 centimetres deep. So it already has these sections on it. I don't know how it'll fare through the year, I don't know. Has these sections on it, so it's already grid lined for square foot gardening, which is quite handy. If not, just use strings or canes, whatever you want to use to mark out the square foot. Some things it's worth growing, some things it's not. There will be some things I will grow in it that are probably not really cost effective in it, but it's just to show what you can actually grow in a metre of this. Other things we need: a bucket or a very large plant pot if you can get one, because this will end up housing a plant eventually as well. What else do we need? Fertiliser. Two types. First one, bloodfish and bone. If you can only get bloodfish and bone, that's perfectly fine. Now in this bed, this 1 metre square, it's going to take about 200 to 250 litres of compost to fill it right to the top. So I'm going to put about 80 to 100 grams of bloodfish and bone fertiliser in it. So I've got B&Q's on compost, 125 litre bags, £6 a bag they are. It's not a bad price really. You can use this for sowing seeds in, providing you either sieve it or try and pick the bigger lumps out. I'm going to put in a bag of sharp sand just to help with some drainage. Now in B&Q's own compost, it says on the back apparently it's 58% peat. Now everyone's all peat friendly, but peat will also help retain moisture. So if you get something that's completely peat free, you might struggle with it drying out a bit. So if you can only get peat free, try and buy a small bag of peat as well. Right, so I'm going to get this thing filled up and we'll take it. Okay, that's all filled up now. You do have to overfill it and then press it down, but not too hard. You don't have to go mad with it. Press it down and water the hell out of it, because you need to get this settling down over the next week or two. You're not going to really plant anything in it for at least a week. It needs good watering. Even though if it rains, it still needs to, get a bit of water on it to get it all down. The other thing, which is a bit of an old myth, I mean, there should be some sort of life in this compost. But if there isn't, what I'm going to do is just got a bit of soil out in my garden, only a trowel full, don't need much, because there's all the little organisms in there that will work your compost to get everything moving around in it. So, need to get a little bit of soil and just make sure you can't see any roots or nasty grubs in it or anything like that. And then you're going to have to bury this quite deep. Make a hole right in the middle. Just going to pull an opening back like that. I'm just going to get like about the size of an apple size, and just push that down the middle like that, and then close the hole back up. And any life that's in that soil will spread throughout this bed. There is holes in this for drainage. How well they work I don't know. If there's any problems I'll have to prick some more. If you're using wood straight on grass or soil area, line the ground with cardboard or newspaper. If you're using newspaper, use at least one full newspaper thickness, about 15-20 sheets thick. Slap it straight on the grass or soil, whatever you've got, and water the hell out of it before you put it on, because if you've got any roots or anything, they're just going to, bad weeds like dandelions are just going to come straight through the bed. So that's that finished. So I'm just going to leave that now to settle, and I'll water it probably, depending on the weather. But, it's had a really good water. It's wet right. It's really soaking to get it settled down. I've got a little bit of compost used. I probably used about 1 3/4 bags, but I might have to put a little bit more on top of it as it sinks. I don't want it crammed right to the top. You want a little bit inch down or something like that. And it's an ongoing thing, because it's all about trial and error, and this is just an experiment. This, just mainly for showing people who are new to gardening out there, what you can get out of a small area. You don't need a great big allotment or anything, and this is the starting point for a lot of people. So, if you've not got a bucket, get one, or a pot. If you can get something like a 20 litre pot or a 30 litre pot, even better, or get a few, potato planters, get some of them. You will need some more compost along the way for doing your potatoes in. They do like a little bit of well-rotted manure, but if you haven't got it, it's not a problem. The other fertiliser I didn't mention before was a potato fertiliser. If you can't get it, don't worry, your bloodfish and bone will be okay for that too. Right, so the next video probably be in a week or so. Some videos will be short, some videos will be long, depending on what I do in one video. One of the next videos, the next few will be potatoes. So if you haven't got any seed potatoes, go out and get some. You can buy them in packs of 10 from a garden centre if you don't want a big load. Roughly put about 2 to a planter. That's all I tend to be doing. So if you've not got any planters, you can go and buy these triple packs. It doesn't have to be, it could be anything. And bags for life would probably be fine, that you get from the supermarket. If your handle's snapped on them, use them, they'll be fine. Anything like that, you know, or really big buckets or tubs, anything you've got knocking around that can actually house some amount of compost or soil will perfectly fine. You know, I've known people grow, you know, plants in old wellies and things like that, and boots, anything like that. I mean, milk bottles, old plastic 2 litre milk bottles, you can grow things in them, which I might go on that a little bit later on, but that might be another project for next year for gardening alternatives, where you go into vertical gardening. So hope you've enjoyed this first episode, and how many episodes is going to be, I don't know. We'll just take it as the year comes, and whatever nature throws at you, you just have to take it on the chin and carry on. So until next time, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next video. Bye.